Some of you know, if you follow me on here, that recently my solo dog passed away from cancer. And before she passed away, we were talking about adopting another dog because we wanted to give her a friend, but then with her getting sick, we thought that wouldn't be a good idea. After she passed away, I was heartbroken, and I was like, for sure, I could never do this again. Not for a while, anyway. And, of course, I've cried every day since, and my heart has been broken. But my husband sat down with me one day, and we were talking, and he said, God really put it on my heart that we can always save another dog. So the story with Maggie is that we adopted her when she was almost 4 years old. And she came from a really bad situation. And we provided a beautiful home for her. Now, going into the shelter, they just guessed their age. So we believe that she was a couple years older. But we found out, she had cancer. And then she passed away. And this was probably a little over a week ago that this happened. But my husband said that we provided her with a beautiful home and a loving family, and we could do that for another dog. So I slowly started looking at shelter, the same shelter that we got Maggie from. And at first I was just like, I want so badly to help another dog, but I don't think I can do this right now because my heart is broken. But every day I would go on there and I'd look. And I'd look at the animals and I'd read their stories. And it just really changed my heart because I do have more love to give, and I do have a home, and I have the patience and the time to do so. And I would never imagine getting another animal other than at a shelter. Like, if I'm going to get an animal, I'm going to adopt one and save one from living in that, They're basically in prison unless they go into foster care. And I'm not saying anything about the shelters. I know they do the best that they can, but I've been in jail before, and I know what it's like. And if you walk through a shelter, you'll see. It's like they're in jail, So I agreed. I actually put it off a little bit, but I agreed yesterday to go visit friends at the shelter and see some of them that we were looking at online and seeing if it could be a possibility. We sat down with the counselor, and she knew our whole story, and we spoke with her. And what I really admired about her too was it wasn't like no pressure in me getting another animal. She was just like, are you okay to do this right now? And I said, yeah, I really do feel like I could give love, Something that keeps me going is knowing that we provided a beautiful life for Maggie in the last years that she was here. And I truly believe that she would want us to continue on providing that for other animals if we could. And me and my husband, when we had that discussion, we said, let's help other animals if we can. As long as we're breathing, why can't we provide a home for them? Not saying we can get multiple animals at one time, but we could at least provide a home for one if we have the space and we have the patience and the love and the time. Why not? And that's what we decided. There's so many animals in shelters. And a lot of shelters try not to euthanize, but sometimes they can't not do it. And so I highly suggest that if you ever want to get an animal, get them from a shelter. Maggie came from a shelter, and she was the best dog I ever had. And I know I can find that again. I know I could. Anyway, we did meet a few dogs yesterday, and we met a dog named Betty, and we adopted her. and we brought her home last night. And she is absolutely adorable. She's sweet. She was a stray. She clearly had puppies, and then they did the surgery to get her spayed, and she was suffering with a respiratory infection. So she's been through a lot, but she's only a couple years old. And when we were walking through the shelter and looking at all the dogs, and when I seen her, I was like, she was so sweet. She was like so different, you know what I'm saying? I just felt drawn to her. We had about 5 dogs that we were looking at, but she was the first one that we seen, and when they brought her in, oh my gosh, she just loved on us so much. So we decided that we would adopt her and provide her with a loving home like we did Maggie. And I don't need no judgment from anybody, because everybody deals with grief differently. You know, I truly believe that continuing on doing this is honoring Maggie and her life. She was the best. And if I can provide that for another dog and give them a loving home like they never had before, why not? Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all some pictures of her, but here she is right now laying on the floor. Meet Betty. Betty Boop Martinez. They named her Betty, but we added the Boop and the Martinez, obviously. I got her a collar coming too, and a new harness. Hey Betty. Hey Betty. Yeah. You're a sweet girl.
Come here. You want to take some pictures? Take some pictures?
He's a good girl.